Hey guys, V. Rigoni Max, high performance real estate entrepreneur. So today we're going to be talking about the mindset of scarcity. In our last video, we talked about abundance and how to get there, how to begin that process of getting there. Now, this one we're going to be talking about scarcity. Unfortunately, this is where most people live. But before we do that, let's hit the like button. Now, let's subscribe to the channel. Leave some comments, questions, whatever. I don't care if, like I said before, I don't care if they're negative. They make me laugh. So where do most people live? How do I deal with most people that I come across, whether they're employees, whether they're associates, whether they're people I teach? Most of humanity lives in a mindset of scarcity. And what really defines scarcity? Well, it's how you were raised in most cases. It's going to give you those values, because that defining scarcity is that you don't want to ever spend money. You don't want to spend the money. And if you, let me rephrase that. It means that you don't have the money either that you need to buy stuff with. So you may not have enough money. That's just the ultimate scarcity, right? Or you just are out there living week to week. These are ways that you can kind of like demonstrate what scarcity is that either you don't have the money, or you're living week to week, or there's more month than money. That's the result of living in a mindset of scarcity. But how do you get there? What causes you to get to this level of scarcity? Because it's a mindset that in a lot of ways has to do not always with how much money you make. Now, you might say, well, that's ridiculous. I thought if you made more money, then you have a mindset of abundance. No, a mindset of abundance means that you're not afraid of money. You're not afraid. You don't have no fear. See, with scarcity comes tremendous fear. And I know that a lot of people out there that are listening to me right now, you have tremendous fear around money. Will there be enough for the vacation? Can I go on the vacation and make the house payment? Can I pay for the car this month? Will I have enough money to pay for my rent? What if I come up short? Who can I call? You're always chasing money necessary to pay for your lifestyle. And so you never think about money, from a standpoint of abundance. You see, and even in my last video, I didn't even put this in, but it's the truth. People that think of money from a standpoint of abundance look at money as a tool. It's a way to make more money. We don't just look at money as a way to spend. See, in a mindset of scarcity, the only thing you're ever thinking about money for is in order to pay your electric bill, your gas bills, your fixed expenses, and then to pay the expenses of the car and to be able to go out to dinner once in a while, or to take the kids on a vacation. You're always looking for it to spend on your lifestyle. When you have a mindset of abundance, it goes way beyond lifestyles. How to use money as a tool to generate more money. We'll talk about that soon, but let's focus still with what we're here dealing with. And that's this mindset in which, when I say 80%, again, the Pareto's law of 80-20, isn't that 80% of the people are doing well? No, it's 20% are going to be doing well, and the other 80% are doing somewhere between middle class and average, which I call average, right? And then below average, all the way down to poverty. So, I'm not saying that you guys are out there living in poverty, but you know that if you fall out of the middle class, poverty can come quick. There's many examples of people that were middle class one day, and they were, for whatever the circumstances were, sometimes out of their control, sometimes well within their control, in which they fall from middle class to poverty. Right? But it all starts with this idea that there's just this concept that you just don't have enough money. That's scarcity. You only look at money as a way to pay your bills. You only look at money as a way to keep the debt collector away, to pay the credit card bill, to buy stuff with, to be a consumer. You are a consumer at all times. And most people, if they're an investor on any level, it's because they just put money in their 401k. And that's about as passive of an investor as you can become. Now, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying it's very passive. Now, not everybody can become an entrepreneur. Everybody can own businesses. Not everybody knows or wants to. There's a big want to scale company into a multi-million-dollar company. They want to keep it small. They just want to do it. But my point is, if you're living in this middle class scenario, there is again, let's just apply that Pareto rule to that. 80% of the 80% are living with a tremendous amount of financial ignorance, a tremendous amount of financial fear, a tremendous amount of all of this that keeps you from doing anything. Because you see, when you were raised, and yes, is this something you can blame your parents for? You probably can blame your parents for, because these values are driven into you at an early age. They're not just overtly driven into you. They're not just overtly taught. They're what you observe when you're 4 years old. They're what you observe when you're 6 years old. They're what you observe when you're 14 years old and you see your parents fighting over money, or you come from a single parent household and there just rarely is ever enough money. All right. Now, it's a matter of experience as much as it's a matter of what you're taught. And when you put what you teach and then that's reinforced by your experience, oh my God, it can stick you in a box, and they can put some pretty big screws and screw that lid down really hard for you to be able to break out of that box. But you got to be able to break out of the box. If you can't be able to break out of the box of a mindset of scarcity, you are just going to stick where you're at. Now, I'm not saying there aren't going to be some people out there that live a pretty decent middle-class life. Fine. No, nothing wrong with that. But if you want to live a more extraordinary life, if you want to be able to, and how do I know you want to live this stuff? Because you watch it on TV. All the way back from the lifestyles of the rich and famous back in I think that show was in the 80s or 90s. You watch this stuff all the time. Why is it that the Kardashians have done so well? It's because people watch them. They see how they live. They envy how they live. Now, I'm not talking about, the moral part of it or anything like that. I'm just talking about they see the pretty clothes. They see all the stuff that happens, and then they think, oh, wouldn't I like to live like that? But so they'll turn it on TV, but they won't go out and accomplish what they need to do in order to generate the lifestyle that they deem is important to them. Now, again, I will get feedback that says, I got a wife, I got kids, I got a husband, I got kids, I live a middle-class life, I'm absolutely happy. Fantastic. And I hope nothing happens that will dislodge that, either on a personal level or financial level. But I know on a financial level, you're hanging on by a shoestring. If one of the two people lose their job in the household, things get real tight, real fast, and the stress level starts to go up that quickly. See, what wealth does for you, where it gives you a sense, it gives you not just a sense, but also gives you the ability to live your life where you don't have to have financial fear. You get to live in financial freedom. And so, but if you're always thinking of life from a standpoint of scarcity, oh, I can't do that because, and it doesn't matter how much money you got. There are people who live a lifestyle of scarcity, no matter how much money they have. But most people, it's that they don't have enough money, period. There's always exceptions to every rule. But the reality is that if the month is going by, and yes, and if you got the electric bill and the gas bill, and you got the mortgage paid and the car payment, and then you get to do take a breath, you're living in a life of scarcity because you got through another month. I don't want you just to get through another month. I want you to live a life that you want to live beyond that of just paying your bills. Money, you have to start to look at money like people do who are wealthy, like they do from a standpoint of abundance. They look at money that it's a tool. It's a way in which to grow. It's a way in which to generate more soldiers that will generate more money for you. Now, you might say, oh, this guy's just all about money. Well, it's a channel about money. It's a channel about entrepreneurship. It's a channel about buying real estate, about buying businesses. What the hell else would I be talking about? So, but I want you to understand, you have to break away from what you were taught, from what you saw. I see it every day when I teach these retirement classes. I got your parents in rooms, and they got $300,000-$400,000 if they're lucky. A lot of them got $100,000, $150,000, $200,000, and they think they're going to be able to support themselves in their retirement. When in 1934, they're telling Social Security is already saying they're going to run out of money. What do you think happens when Social Security runs out of money? Well, then their benefits are going to be cut, or your taxes are going to go up. Either way, they're going to have less. So that mindset of scarcity turns into real scarcity. See, that's part of the problem. See, the mindset of abundance creates more abundance. A mindset of scarcity creates more scarcity. Now, that may seem simplistic, but so much of life, so much of the formulas in which you need to live your life are simplistic formulas. I always say, it's always simple. It doesn't mean it's easy. And so I want you to start to grasp some of this so that you can start to say, hey, how do I break away from it? It's like I say, just go on an airplane and take a ride and pay for first class. You'll never want to go back. You won't want to go back there, especially after you see the stuff you see on the internet. Like, oh my God, right? You're not seeing that in first class section in most cases. But my point is that yes, you might say, well, that just makes you just a bigger consumer. On some level, it does. But you see, the level in which I pay my bills, I don't have to go to work. We have money that generates for that. So when I buy a first class ticket, I didn't go to work to earn that money to buy that ticket. We have businesses that generate money that create the money to buy that ticket. See, if you can get to that point, you get to that level of abundance, and you start to use your money as a tool to make more money. Again, how do we make that happen? Well, yes, you may have a job. It may be retail. It may be maybe you're a construction worker. Maybe you're an electrician. Whatever it is, there's nothing wrong with that world. But if you want to grow financial freedom, you got to start to take some steps out. But you see, your job is your biggest asset. They always say it's your network, not your net worth. But yeah, it's all cute. The bottom line is your ability to borrow money. You want to change your life? Create an ability to borrow money. Because then you can start to apply what wealthy people do, and that is OPM and other people's money, other people's time. Now, nobody volunteers, but you get to pay other people to do work for you that'll do what you need them to do so that their efforts generate revenue. I mean, you're giving away your time right now, your OPT for somebody else. So just start to think of how do I make this work for me? Get a little selfish here. Start to become a little more selfish. How do I make me grow? Because if you always look at money, why don't you go out and borrow money to buy a rental property, a duplex? I've been talking about it for 2 years. Anybody, I realize the market hasn't been the best for some of that, but barring that isn't what stopped you. What stops you is fear. The fear of, oh my God, what if the tenant doesn't pay the rent? Oh my God, what if the toilet breaks down? Oh my God, what if I have to call in an electrician? Oh my God, who's going to pay for that? Oh my God, right? That's not how life works. There's revenue that comes in from these properties. They generate, yes, also expenses, but you generate revenue that pays for the expenses, that pays to get the plumber in there, that pays for the electrician. And yes, there are years where, especially in the beginning, where it's going to be tighter, where you might actually have to pull some money out of savings, where you might actually have to pull some money out of your income in order to support your initial investment. I get it, even as we say, never buy an investment that doesn't have a positive cash flow. But I don't want to go too far afield into the concept of business. All right. This is a mindset that we got to overcome first before we can get into business. You got to stop thinking about money as just there to pay your bills. You got to start thinking about money as just there for some future retirement when you get to be older. Think about money as a tool that will help you create financial freedom. And the moment you create financial freedom is the moment you get to walk away from your job, whatever it is you're doing. Now, you might say, I'll get people to say, but I don't want to walk away. No problem. It gives you choices. I still have to keep defining what I define. It gives you choices. So if you want a life with choices, not just a life with obligations, because the problem with the middle class is you live a life of obligation. When you become financially free, you immediately elevate out of the middle class to a life of choices. That's what it gives you. Now, some people they pick bad choices. I get it. Some people use money for bad things, but that doesn't make the money bad. That just makes the person. They made bad choices. You may have great choices for the money that you create from your financial freedom. And then you get to go out and you get to give money to charity, you get to give money to schools, give money to your church, give money to your kids, whatever it is you want to do. That's what financial freedom does for you. It gives you choices. You want to go to Europe, you go to Europe. You want to go to Florida, you go to Florida. When? That's up to you. It has nothing to do with your job. It has nothing to do with whether or not the electric bill was paid. This is what I'm talking about. Break away from this idea of scarcity. It was taught to you when you were in school. It's reinforced by your friends and family. Just talk about, listen, just talk about the next time you get together with your friends or family. Talk about the fact that you're thinking about buying a duplex or a 3 or 4 unit building, and just throw that out there. And then you could just sit there and listen to all the things that come back of, oh my God, but can you afford it? Do you have the money? What if the tenants don't pay? What if the taxes go up? You'll hear all this. Now, you might hear a whisper here or there that, oh, that sounds wonderful. Well, that's pretty cool. Chances are, most of what you're going to hear from your friends, your family, your coworkers, they're all going to be based upon fear. Now, that means that they still want the best for you, hopefully. Hopefully, they're looking for the best for you, but their fear level that they live with has to then be expressed to you, because you've mentioned the fact that you're thinking about doing something that they have no understanding about. If they actually ever thought about it for 5 minutes, their fear level of the way they were raised and things they saw drove that right into the dirt, deep. And so that all has to come out and be expressed to you because they love you. So they want you not to be hurt. They're not telling you this because they don't want you to have money. They're telling you this because they think that, oh my God, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to destroy your family. You're going to destroy your life. You're going to end up in bankruptcy. They're going to list all this crap off to you. Then you're going to have to be able to walk out of that room with your dreams and goals intact. Good luck with that. But I say give it a shot. Just use it for to see if I'm right, because I know I'm going to be right. When you sit in a room, you start talking about the fact you're thinking about buying an apartment building, blah blah blah. You'll hear it. You're thinking about buying a rental house. You're going to hear it. Where are you going to get the money? How are you going to do it? What if they don't pay? What if they ruin the building? What if they ruin it? What if the tenants destroy? All that shit's happened to me, and I still love real estate. It's just the way it works. So I want you to think about this. You see, we did a video on abundance. And then we did this video on scarcity. The next video is going to be about how to get through the whole barrier of it, how to really put it together. So watch for that. All right. And do what I say in this respect. Think big, start now, and grow fast. And if you do that, you're on your way. Let's get out there. Let's make it happen. V. Rigoni, Max, high performance real estate entrepreneur. Talk to you soon.